Welcome everybody. This is June 18th of our Summer Reading Regatta. This is day 18. We're having a blast. We're going to have a good time tonight with nonfiction. 3 super dynamic authors with 3 very different works. We're going to have a good time sharing them with you. But before we start, Andrew, can you please tell us about the Sailor Shore School?
Only if you can say it 3 times real fast. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, I can't.
So if you've missed out so far this month to Sailor Shore School, you've really missed out, but you can get it back with just a $10 replay fee and get access to Carolyn Topperman and the images as prompts. And this was a fun group. And you're going to get a little bit extra tonight when she reads for us. Kate McNeil gave us a great just a really awesome presentation on street and launch teams, which if you follow it, you'll say, if I do this, I'm going to sell more books. And of course, Deborah Reed gave us You Had Me at the Hook, which also was a lot of fun as we went through an exercise to get more and more detailed and hook people in. We had them all, hook, line, and sinker. We still have 2 more Sailor Shore schools to do. I almost messed it up. I will be on June 27th doing Weapons in Fiction, Shots Across the Bow, and we'll be a nice interactive group that will go the direction that the group wants to go. And we'll go over different types of weapons and how to write about them effectively. And then lastly, but not least at all, on June 28th, Seth and Christopher Gare will be doing Land Ho and world building. And this is going to be great fun for us all as we learn how to build the world that just entices readers to come in. These are all of the last 2 are $5 to do it live, and you get access to the download and transcript. For the 3 that are already done, you can, for $10, get the download and transcript. Do you want to make one note? The 27th with me in Weapons in Fiction, do consider that PG or PG-13. Children are cautioned. Make sure you know them before you have them come in. We may be, and just depending on you, we may be discussing some things that are a little more intense. All going to be up to you, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Andrew. Before Andrew needs to leave, I want to say very, very sincerely, thank you, Andrew, for taking time out of your vacation to join us. And I appreciate you being a part of the Harbor Crew. The rest of the Harbor Crew here tonight, Christopher Gare, Caroline Topperman, who is also reading tonight. Deborah Reed is on our crew tonight. And Kate McNeil is also a very strong member of our crew, but she is on shore leave tonight. So she's going to watch the replay. Thank you very much.
She's not hunting me, is she? Wait, I'm hunting her.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. She was going to be in your neck of the woods this weekend, but you're not there. So good for you. All right. Thank you, Harbor Crew, for helping me out with this. It's impossible for me to put on an event like this without you, so I am tremendously grateful. Thank you all. If you noticed, Brent Seth has already put the Harbor Store catalog link in the chat. You might want to make notice of that. He will put it up periodically throughout the night so that you can connect with all of our authors of literary wonderment and their creative vessels. So, tonight, we are going to start off with Angela Berent. Hey, Angela. Welcome. So I want to show everybody your book. This is one of 2 that you'll be reading from tonight. This is List Your Life, Angela Berent. And see that I put this up here so everybody can find it in the Harbor Store catalog. Visuals are great, so this is your memory trigger. But Angela, you've been with us before, and I've loved hearing you read. I've been so inspired, and I love this idea of journaling through the process of list making. This is a really cool thing, and it's something I hadn't thought of before I met you. So can you give everybody a little bit of the background about this process and how it works?
Sure. So after thinking for a long time about what am I going to write, I wanted to write something, and I finally heard a couple of great pieces of advice that we should all write our stories before we're 55, and that it's always best to write from our own heart. And so I don't know, those were two things that were just like allowed me to get going. And from that, I started thinking about how do I naturally write? What do I want to write? So I started making lists of some of my memories. And after I started gathering my lists, I realized, wow, maybe this could work for other people. So I collected my random lists into List Your Life. And and it's just a list of 3, because as a middle school teacher, I know that more than 3 is just impossible. It's daunting for anybody.
That's true,
So, yeah,
especially for middle schoolers.
especially. So trying to make it very, very easy and approachable for myself, for my students, and for anybody who might want to write. So that is my whole goal with any of my stationery items, is very, very simple lists of 3. So I'm anxious to hear about Caroline's book next, because I think we have some things to talk about. But
yeah, you two should definitely connect, because your methods are so different, but they elicit such strong creative opportunity. So I think you guys need to definitely connect.
I think so. um, I was really lucky when I started gathering these lists together. I just happened to run into, well, be connected with somebody who lives near me here in Chelsea, and she's a graphic designer, Lisa Michelle Carpenter, and she had some beautiful watercolors to put together with my ideas. So each page features her watercolors and a prompt to get someone going, a quote to get you started, and then I share my list of 3 so that people can see how much can be gathered really quickly in just short little lists of 3. So,
well, and those are very inspiring too, because we see what the possibility is from your imagination. And then we say, oh, well, this isn't that unapproachable. I can do this because Angela can do this.
right. And it was each one is just, for me, it's just 2 to 3 sentences. It's very, very brief, yet I have a great collection of stories that I throw in my cedar chest for my boys to have someday when they're older. I like that my parents are spending time thinking about it, responding to me, and other people have said that it's a great way to collect memories and give as a gift. So
It is very cool.
that's been kind of fun. One of the parts of one excerpt from a list is fantastic family traditions. I don't know about you, but for summer, I always think about my traditions and things that I so look forward to. And this is one. I'm looking forward to this. This is an annual trip, and we actually head off for this one 2 weeks from tomorrow. So it's especially close, but here we go. Once described as heaven by a great-granddaughter, the ritual is to be outside together all week at our rental cabins on the lake. Feasts of everyone's specialties and plenty of boating time. For 30 years running, the countdown toward next July begins as soon as we have to go home. Short, sweet, conjures my memories, takes my heart back to where I was, and hopefully the little bits that I offer invite someone to share their own ideas.
Absolutely. I love that. Would you read some more for us?
Sure. Would you like more from that entry?
Read another one from List Your Life,
Okay.
from a different prompt.
Oh, sure.
What I'd like you to do is share 3 different entries from 3 different prompts in each book. Can you do that?
Yes, I can.
Awesome.
So here is another one. This title is Gifts from My Parents. In gathering my lists, I realized both the tangible and the intangible things that mattered so much to me. And I thought that that really belonged in a memory book. So here's little one. Most kids live for sleepovers. I did too, but my prized weekend plans revolved around my cousins. We played hard, riding bikes, catching fireflies, organizing clubs, building forts, occasionally playing school so I could be the teacher. Total fun, freedom, and imagination, building some of the most important friendships of my life.
Wow, that's very cool. I love that because it reminds me of my childhood, and I was always the teacher too. So it's very, very cool to hear that little slice of your history. Can you do one more from this book, and then I want to talk about the second book?
Absolutely. Here is an item from Gifts I Treasure is the prompt. And I tried to take prompts that were general so that it could be meaningful to whoever read it and they could take it and run. So Gifts I Treasure, this is one. As he proposed, John brought forth an antique-looking wooden box with a bronze snowflake design embedded in the top. I wholeheartedly answered yes, and he presented a slice of smooth agate that he'd fashioned into a key. The tiniest click revealed a velvety burgundy box encapsulating my sparkling engagement ring.
Okay, I just
Ooh.
got goosebumps. That's so cool.
You did really
Wow. That's beautiful. Holy
Thank
moly.
you very much.
So the second book is one that we're actually giving away tonight. This is Trace Your Travels. There we go.
Yeah.
Tell us about this book.
So after I wrote the first book, people said, "What's your next one?" And I thought, "Oh, this has to be a travel book. I have so many memories, things that make me happy." But when I started looking at different types of journals, I realized that a lot of travel journals revolve around one particular trip. And the idea of Trace Your Travels is to walk one through all of the travels of their life, from when being young or solo or attached or with groups or parties or reasons, or even sometimes when things go wrong when you're traveling, because we've made a lot of good memories that way too. But it's the exact same style. In fact, we used the same watercolors. Lisa Michelle worked with me again on this piece. Only we went with the antique and the maps, and I wanted it to be inviting, and it feels special to me to open this piece. So same thing, prompt, a quote to kind of draw you in, and then 3 of my different travel memories.
Awesome. Will you share some with us, please?
I will. This is from the prompt titled Quirky Lodging. It's good to have thrill-seeking, adventurous friends. I was lucky to have one who found the Lost Trail Lodge, a remote gem in the mountains of Truckee, California. I hesitated when she said that we were to carry all the food and wine that we would need for our stay. Alas, we loaded up and hiked to a rustic yet fully appointed lodge nestled in the mountains. I'll always remember traversing snowy cliffs and finding out how fast I could move in snowshoes at the inkling of a bear. I was greatly relieved to get back to the safety of the in-room hot tub.
Nice. Yeah, see, Angela, Caroline, you guys need to connect because Caroline writes about her travels as well. So you definitely need to connect here. Okay, read one more from this book for us, and then we'll do Q&A with the Harbor Crew.
Okay. Let's see. This is called Avoid the Faux Pas. And if any of you are military, you will certainly relate to this and this great learning experience for me. The young man's steely gaze should have alerted me that I was doing something very wrong that day on board the USS Abraham Lincoln, but I thought the painted line on the floor couldn't be that important. It was. Afterward, my cousin, a sailor, pointed out that yes, indeed, he was an officer, and that yes, the sailors are distinctly aware of such lines, and that yes, they are never to be crossed. I finally understood and gained a new respect for Navy life.
Well done. Thank you so very much. Harbor Crew, do we have any questions for Angela tonight? Caroline.
I don't know if it's so much a question, but it's more of a comment. That's brilliant. I love what you're doing. And I feel like if we join forces, Deborah has to come in too, because there's total overlap there as well.
Yeah,
like clean it up.
I'm in. I'm
I
totally
wanted to give you a shout out on that one too, but yeah, no, I think that's brilliant. I love that idea of, do you take these with you when you travel or you go play? I mean, because I'm sure you've traveled a lot in the last year and a half, but do you take these with you and work on them too when you're traveling?
Well, I usually have my blank notebooks with me so that I'm collecting more prompts and more ideas, and I'm making lists every day. And in fact, once I started with the 2 books, I really realized the value of a list of 3. So I now keep a journal, a daily journal, which again was something I'd always wanted to keep, but blank pages just intimidate me to no end. Every night I write 3, and some days it's I had lasagna for dinner. Some days it's more, but I let myself stop at 3. And in doing that now, I think I started at the beginning of last year. So I've got I'm approaching a year and a half of my daily list of 3, and I can gather so much.
That's awesome. I just think it's a great process. It's a nice reflective process.
Yeah. And I like
Anna,
that
we
it's
had
just the 3, so it's not overwhelming. Because I agree, it would be overwhelming to me too. It's like, well, so much happened today. What do I, and so yeah, that's a really great concept just to do 3.
Absolutely.
Sorry,
Christopher.
We had a question in the room. It actually kind of mirrors something I was going to ask too. So Joan and I were on the same wavelength. What kinds of feedback do you get from people who have purchased and used your prompts?
The greatest feedback is when people give it to their parents who are aging and they want their fresh memories from the span of their life. I've been told that they like how they learn about childhood memories from an aunt or a mother or stories that they'd never heard of. Pets from a childhood was one that came up that the person just said, just the name of this pet opened up a whole new section of her aunt's childhood. So that's been the greatest delight for me, is that it's worked for some people, that it does in fact gather the family stories.
Nice.
I think this is awesome. I was thinking about this today when I was setting up the graphics for tonight's session. I have a very dear friend and a niece that just both had babies on May 4th of all days. I know, they're like little bitty. So my thought was, this List Your Life idea is a great way for them to journal their babies' lives or their lives as parents in retrospect every day. And it's not overwhelming and big and like this long thing. It's just 3 little short things. Okay, tell me about what you're holding. Tell me.
Can I just add this real quick?
Yeah, do.
So these aren't technically books. They're actually they're calendar journals. And oh my gosh, Diana, just exactly what you were saying. I have twins who are 13 now. And when they were born, while I was pregnant, I journaled beautifully. And the minute they arrived, I stopped writing. But somebody for a shower gave me a blank calendar. And on that very blank calendar, I now have all of my boys' little memories. So I've created this that's actually available also on my website, writeremember.com. Similar thing, but it's totally blank so that parents can start. There is no you don't have to do something every day. And in fact, I should show you mine. It's a disaster. However, I know everything that it says, so it can start any month. You just splash the numbers on there and then write down, Sam hates pears or whatever happened that day.
Right.
Somebody rolled over today. And then every 3 months, I had some really good advice from one of my readers. Every 3 months I stop and they write the lists of 3 because, babies' lives evolve so quickly. So it's
Absolutely.
an 8-month calendar for babies. It's called Notes from the Nursery.
Yeah, and Diana Jewell just made a comment that I think is brilliant for genealogy. It's a great idea.
Yeah, sit
down with your grandparents or your great grandparents and ask them these questions. It's awesome.
Well, I'm even going to write it down because I think that's a unique and special topic all its own. While these would collectively gather those memories, I could probably do it a little more pointedly, thinking specifically about genealogy.
That's a great idea. Thanks, Diana. That's awesome. Okay, let me show you Angela's book again. Let me see if I can get my share screen to work. Dun, dun, dun. There we go. Angela's book, she has two, but this one is List Your Life, and you can find her other book, which is Trace Your Travels. You can find both of those in the Harbor Store, and Brent's going to put that Harbor Store link up for us periodically throughout the night so that you guys can find her. You can connect to her website, her Amazon page, all that stuff, and get to her directly. Thank you, Angela, for sharing.
Thanks.
I'm so grateful you came tonight. I love having you as part of our community. I'm really looking forward to when we can do in-person events again,
Yes.
and you and I can sit and chat. That'll be a good thing.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, moving on. We're going to talk to Caroline. Hi, Caroline. So I want to show you the screen for Caroline's book. Caroline wrote this really, really cool book. I'm madly in love with this book. Drake, some of you know Drake, some of you don't. He's my muse. He loves this book. We're having a really, really good time with it. So this is Tell Me What You See, and this is visual writing prompts, which is a similar idea, but different. And if you missed the workshop that we did on June 7th with Caroline, we actually get to practice a little bit of this, and it was super fun. So check that out in download. But Caroline is gonna publish another book. And I'm so excited because she's test driving it with us. We are her beta readers tonight. So I'm super excited about this. And I'm super grateful that she trusts us all enough and has the courage to bring this brand new work out into the open. Thank you, Caroline.
Yeah, be nice, everybody, please.
Caroline,
So,
is it about snakes?
Stop that. Okay, so Caroline, tell us a little bit about the backstory for this new book.
Yeah, so it is actually connected with the writing prompts as well, with the visual writing prompts. Basically, in 2013, I decided that I hated living in Vancouver, BC, Canada, and that I was going to sell everything and just move to Poland. And so that's what my husband did. It took us about 1.5 years to get our passports, and I guess I decided in 2012 or 2011, and in 2013 we moved to Poland and just restarted our lives there. And so because I'm used to moving, I'm used to constantly being on the road and doing things like that. And so while we were there, I had the chance to reconnect with family, meet people that I only knew in passing or barely at all. I had a chance to sort of retrace my family's steps when they lived there before they were kicked out twice. And just randomly, we wound up living on the same street where my dad lived when he came back to Poland after the war. And we wound up living up the street where my parents got married, where my cousin got married, like half my family got married.
What is this? You were able to just reconnect with all that family history. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. And actually a lot of it too is just a lot of it was just going back and going over photographs and figuring it all out too. So there was a lot of that element that came into it. But yeah, so then I thought, well, the book will be sort of the story of 3 generations of my family. My grandparents, who are my maternal grandparents, who are Polish Jews who are forced to flee at the beginning of the war for obvious reasons. They make it to Tashkent, and then they come back to help rebuild the country. My dad, his family, they spent that time in Afghanistan, came back, and then in 1968. Basically my maternal side of my family was forced out again. So it's a whole compilation of that. But the part that I'm going to read today is my experience when I arrived in Poland.
That's so cool. I love that you're writing this from the perspective of 3 different generations experiencing the same space. I think that's incredibly enticing, and I'm really looking forward to this book coming out. It's going to be very cool. Would you read a little bit for us?
Of course. So this chapter is called Assimilation or Not by Way of Food, because that was the first book. I'm standing in the middle of the street crying. I hate this coffee. Why does everything taste so weird? Why is surufka served with everything? To this day, I don't get what's to love about a type of coleslaw. Why did we come here? What was I thinking? My poor husband stands helplessly watching my meltdown. The honeymoon period in a new place lasts about a month. That's when everything feels new and shiny, before your new reality hits you upside the head. I have to wonder, is this how my parents felt when they first lived in Baghdad or Paris, in Sweden or Toronto? No wonder they didn't hang on to the foods they knew or to the traditions. How could they? They learned it was easier to adapt than to blindly cling to old conventions. Adjusting to our new life in Poland is demanding. Having breakfast at Vincent's helps, and in a couple of days, we quickly fall into a routine that leads us to this tiny piece of Paris, complete with flags, those iconic wicker chairs, and the best baguettes outside of France. Each morning, we leave our flat for a small park with sweeping views of Powiśle, an indie neighborhood bordering the Vistula River, and the encampment where we live. There are always lots of people, all walking their dogs off leash, so we pick our way through dog poop, garbage left by partygoers, local drunks, and students. Pristine the park is not, but we have a prime view of the church grounds, one of the many, many churches in Warsaw, and a view of the river and the rooftops. Walking down a steep hill where kids toboggan in the winter, we come to the Chopin University of Music, where we're serenaded by students, then make our way up to Nowy Świat, a part of the royal route. This daily walk to Vincent's makes us happy. The general societal mood is electric, despite a certain heaviness that lingers. Warsaw is a city that displays its memories, especially those that contrast starkly with the modern world. Memorials and statues stand out on prominent streets. Buildings show off shell holes from World War II assaults. Every few steps, there's a plaque commemorating a death or a war event. The beautiful old library around the corner from our home saw its books being burned during the Nazi regime. Even with history at every turn, the pink, blue, and yellow buildings perk up the gray, wintry feel of Warsaw. Pixie, with her laid-back West Coast disposition, putters along at our side as we pass restaurants and cafes that will soon be bustling. Pixie loves Vincent's as much as we do. Why wouldn't she? The owner hand feeds her fresh croissants, sometimes with jam. Pixie's my dog. Those croissants are the best part of our mornings. Breaking apart the buttery flakes, each bite a melting morsel, and washing them down with rich cappuccinos is the only sane way to start the day. Actually, there are 3 Parises to choose from on this street, each with its own flavor. Petit à Petit has vintage French music, and each baguette is named after a different city. A few meters away is Croque Madame with whitewashed walls and bunches of lavender strategically displayed. Vincent's is my favorite because it reminds me the most of Paris, but each cafe is filled with the aroma of fresh bread. From flaky pastries to cream-filled macarons to warm, melt-in-your-mouth pain au chocolat to delicate madeleines, every day brings something new to indulge in. In the weeks to come, when we finally rejoin society, we will drop by Vincent's on Saturday mornings to pick up a freshly baked baguette that is still warm to the touch to pair with runny cheeses, fragrant meats, juicy red tomatoes, and crisp pickles. This is the meal that grounds us, that makes us feel we are home. For now, walking to faux Paris every morning is our escape from the obvious. At some point, we will have to find work. At some point, we will have to eat healthier food. That means I'll have to cope with grocery shopping. When I finally try, some items really stump me. The tomato sauce tastes sweet, and the only milk I find is boxed up on a shelf. Eggs aren't in the fridge either, which makes for a confusing run around the market. It takes days of dipping into different stores before I finally work up the nerve to ask a clerk about this strange, new-to-me milk. Actually, I have no idea what to ask, which is why the conversation goes as follows. Przepraszam, proszę pana, jakie to mleko? Czy można je pić normalnie? This roughly translates as, excuse me, sir, what kind of milk is this? Can I just drink it normally? Or at least that's what I want to say. Whether or not it comes out like that, I can't be sure. O co pani chodzi, he scoffs. This term I will come to know intimately over the next 4 years. It translates roughly as, What are you talking about? Harshly, dismissively. To be fair, I probably sounded odd asking about milk I can drink normally. I went to Poland thinking I spoke Polish, which I do. I speak Polish fluently, but I was used to speaking Polish with my family over dinner and throwing in the occasional English word or modifying a Polish word when I didn't know how to conjugate. Conversations went like this. Jak dzisiaj było w szkole? How was your day at school? Okay, miałam science test I myślę, że that I passed. Do I even need to translate? But in Poland, it'll take a year before I figure out that I should smile my biggest smile and say, I'm sorry, I haven't learned that word yet. So people will laugh and possibly go out of their way to help me. Those first few days in the markets facing a cranky clerk, I turned a bright shade of red, mumbled something incoherent, and rushed out of the store.
Well done. I'm so envious of your travel, and I'm really appreciative that you are able to drop me so fluidly into the scene. I feel like I'm eavesdropping on you in this grocery. It is just a really cool thing. You do that really, really well.
I think I gained 5 pounds just listening to all the food items, and I'm hungry now because of it.
Yeah. Any questions from anybody out there for Caroline?
Not so much a question, but I just can't wait to read more. You have so many hints that I feel like I have a little teaser already about different parts of those generations that I am so curious. When is it available?
I don't know yet. I'm hoping sometime in like the fall it'll come out.
I don't know about you, Caroline, but my goal is to have your edits back to you before the October festival.
Great.
That's my goal. So I want to share with you, I don't know if you can see it, but Luba says she was laughing and salivating at the same time. Extremely visual writing.
Yeah.
Good job.
You definitely made us feel like we were right there with you. Like Christopher said, almost like eavesdropping on someone said it, like eavesdropping on your life there. I mean, it was incredible.
So real quick, because Caroline did share this with us before it's actually, out in the wild, as we say. I would like everybody to real quick in the chat box, just type simply yes or no. Should Caroline publish this? Yes or no? Everybody just throw it in there real quick, and we're not going to hold it against you if you say no. This is the first time she shared any of this publicly, so we want to get some feedback.
Thank you. If anybody wants to, I do post little bits of this on Instagram quite often too. So if you find me on there, let me know. And I put a lot of pictures up from this time.
Very, very cool. Christopher, I don't think that's a real word, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
I say it's a word, it's a word.
Okay, I'll take it. Thank you, Caroline. I'm so grateful for you not only being on the Harbor Crew, but for sharing tonight and being courageous and bringing out infant writing. I just think it's wonderful. Thank you.
I think that's awesome, Caroline. I think I really like everybody. I think can identify with kind of like almost like a fish out of water in being in another place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. I want to show you, where's my share screen thing? I hate technology. It's dogging me this week. I don't know why. So this is Caroline's other book, Tell Me What You See.
No, that's your dogs.
Okay, those are the dogs.
Are they a character?
Those are the dogs. Those are the dogs. Hold on. I swear I'm going to do this. Okay, can you see that now?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. This is Caroline's book. It's been a week. It's Friday. I'm so glad it's Friday. It's been a week. So tell me what you see. This is an awesome mentoring visual writing prompt guide. It's very, very cool. You guys gotta check it out. It's awesome. So thank you very, very much. I appreciate you coming out and doing this. Hey, Gary, you know what that means? You're up next.
Okay.
Okay. So Gary Floyd is here. Let me see if I can do this again, because it's doubtful, but we'll try it. Okay, here we go. There now. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is Gary's book. It's called Eyes Open with Your Mask On. This is an interesting reflection on times of COVID over this last year. And this is actually one of two books that Gary wrote on this subject. I'm really intrigued to hear more about this, Gary. Can you give us the setup and kind of talk about this title for us?
I will tell you is that the first book which I put out is actually called Liberté, and it actually forming a union, and actually there's like two stories in it that kind of set the tone for it, because we went down under the Employee Free Choice Act to Washington, D.C. to basically lobby our congressmen, and we realized that none of them really care anything at all about what we think. And from that first book, there seemed like such a divergence from what Washington wants and what American people want. And then when COVID happened, it was like, it just seemed like a natural flow that the things that the first book had written about should go into the second book. And I think that the second book is actually more of a coherent whole in my end. The first book I had somebody describe as kind of like a visual thing of around the world, because it was all these different movements that were happening. One of the things like I touched on was like the Yellow Vest movement in France. And I foresee that I am going to have probably a third book out of this as well. Everything in here is done in flash fiction. This could be there could be essays to this, there could be nonfiction to this, there could be prose poetry to this. On your card game, I could be a wild card.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm really intrigued by these books, is because they are this really interesting coagulation of different forms and formats, and you kind of grouped them all together on this topic, and I'm really intrigued by it.
I had somebody who did an interview on it and described it as a hybrid. And
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing. I think of it more as a mosaic, and I actually think that.
Oh, that's a really good term for it. That I'm going to use that. That's awesome.
And I actually think that it is. I might have actually done this when I was a kid, because I remember doing things and trying to do things from a variety of different perspectives. I think it was like 8 or 9, and who knows? Maybe all my good ideas ended at about 8 or 9.
No, they didn't end. They just matured with you.
There you go. That too. I would say that the first book is I didn't know what I was going to do. Part of the reason I got it out is because I wanted to move beyond it and get on to what the next project was. And then when COVID happened, this was the next project.
Right.
So,
right.
And
awesome.
I would say that I will go with the travel theme here, as that other people have had here.
Okay, great.
Okay.
I would love it if you could read for us, and then we'll discuss more after you're done.
March 2020, a cruise ship arrives on the West Coast with passengers suffering from coronavirus. The media prattles endlessly about some new pandemic like Ebola or swine flu. My wife and I still head to Florida for a cruise. They won't let us board if we've recently been to Italy, Iran, China. We've discussed visiting my parents. We call, they have typical hacking costs. I don't want to get sick and risk the cruise line turning us away. President Trump talks about it. It's going to disappear. One day it's a miracle. It will disappear. We're in Florida where the second ship is quarantined off the West Coast. The hotel runs normally. There's a breakfast buffet, eggs, home fries, individual yogurts, pastry, watery juice, and toast. No one wears a mask. We've only seen a few Asian girls in the terminal with them. The girls look like something out of the Black Plague. Nearby, a woman repeatedly coughs. Everyone looks up. Some squirm. Everyone tries to appear unconcerned. We take the shuttle to the port, board. The area is awash with hand sanitizers. The disease feels distant, like we're able to outrun it. Infrared thermometers check our temperatures. Our passports are checked. Sunglasses removed. We enter. A crew member sprays stainless steel banisters. Another wipes handrails. They smile and welcome us. Everything blinks, lights and noise, and voices blend in a cacophony of white noise. An officious-looking person offers us champagne. We navigate our way through the nautical maze. I purchase a drink package. I can now drink whatever I want, don't have to drive it. I still have a cabin to stumble back to. March 6th, the weather is stormy. It'll take us longer to reach our destination. Between dinner and shows, we watch CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News at our cabin, rather than the nonstop loop of the ship's suggested tours. There are currently 19 deaths from COVID in the US, 16 are in Washington State. President Trump says we have very low numbers compared to major countries throughout the world. Our numbers are lower than just about anybody. He then talks about Italy. I hear the numbers are getting much better in Italy. March 8th, the US State Department recommends not going on cruises. Too late. There are 564 cases of COVID-19 with 213 deaths. An Icelandic violinist plays The Devil Went Down to Georgia with the fiddle behind her back. A singer sings Somewhere Over the Rainbow before a slideshow of her childhood pictures. I order a candied apple martini. March 9th, the seas are rough. The acrobatic show is canceled. Yesterday's headline has gamely returned. The numbers in Italy jumped from 1,492 new cases to 9,172 in a day, and the deaths go from 133 to 463. I'm drinking a Blue Wave martini and listening to a set of Beatles favorites. March 10th, we're in Puerto Rico. I've heard there's one COVID case on the island. The mainland now has 1,000 cases. President Trump says it's the best unemployment numbers in the history of our country. I order a sunset martini. The more I drink, the easier his BS is to swallow. March 11th, 2 of the Utah Jazz are sick from COVID. The team's game with the Oklahoma City is canceled. There are high seas and my wife doesn't feel well. I lean into the waves, try not to crash against the walls. My leg buckle as the ship rolls into a trough. March 12th, after the CDC report, the NHL schedule is suspended. Broadway cancels its shows, museums close. The 2020 MLB season is delayed. In the martini bar, I drink a Decadence Espresso martini during a set of 70s favorites. A performer plays John Denver's Country Road. It sounds like music. March 13th, Italy's case tally is from 17,650 with 1,266 deaths, a rise of 250 deaths in 24 hours. March 14th, passengers on our ship have no fever, so St. Martin allows us in. Other ships are rerouted to St. Kitts. St. Martin is a ghost town. The ladies who sell souvenirs have no customers. Later that night, I drink a Pantini. Italy now has the largest death rate of any country since the pandemic began. When we return, the cruise lines announced that all operations will be suspended after we dock. I order a Corona beer. The crew, which has been so kind to us, is still unsure what's going on. They believe they'll be scattered across different ports or given berths on the ship. We decide to pack rather than go to the silent disco. By the end of the cruise, movie theaters have unprecedentedly closed. President Trump says this is very contagious. This is a very contagious virus. It's incredible, but it's something we have tremendous control of. O'Hare Airport is in chaos. The airlines still haven't figured out the new normal. We return to the same hotel. 2 girls wearing a mask answer phones. Many customers are canceling their reservations. Spring break goes on. I'm afraid we'll be stuck here. I'd rather reboard the ship and let them take us out anywhere. Perhaps we could anchor at sea and ride out the pandemic. Somehow we return home. It's early in the evening. We're our cab driver's second fear. We take a cab the final few miles. Boston is completely closed, and I'd love a fruity martini.
Well done. Thank you very much for that. Here's something that just occurred to me while I was listening to you read. This whole pandemic is still really super fresh for all of us, and it's for many of us it's still very much an open wound. What I find important about this writing is that it's a slice of historical time. This is going to be one of those books that I think it's really important. I heard somebody say this at the beginning of the pandemic when we all got shuttered in. They said, don't stop writing. It's important that you keep writing because we need to create a historical record. There needs to be, just like through the Holocaust with Anne Frank, or just like through World War I, when Tolkien got so much of his influence from World War I. We need to write these stories so that we have some perspective 10, 15, 50, 100 years from now. So although it's still really a raw subject for me, I'm very grateful that you've taken the time and the courage to write these memories down so that we'll have a touchstone later.
It's actually interesting, Diana, because I feel the exact same way. I think it's very important to have this stuff out there. And I will tell you is it hasn't been an easy path, because even a lot of the information that is out there is, I find a lot of it is being controlled by big tech companies. I will tell you with this book is I couldn't advertise on Amazon. They would not touch anything with COVID-19.
Really? That's
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, they would not, COVID would not touch anything with that. And then when I went to Facebook, is, what the heck did I do? With Facebook is, I'm probably one of the most anti-fascist people you could get. So I actually put a quote in by Joseph Goebbels, basically taking apart fascism. I got put in Facebook jail because somebody just read the name and stuck me in jail. So I was in jail
Well,
for a week.
It's
I've
all
been trying.
algorithm. It's all algorithm driven, but
I know,
yeah,
it
it's
is.
so. But I think it's important that these histories are preserved. Just like I think it's important that Caroline's histories are preserved in photograph. And I think, as Luba mentioned, it's important to do this in documentary filmmaking. Angela's personal journey, I think, is another aspect of this, that I think maintaining these memories is going to be important for future generations.
I would
Diana?
hope that the one thing that I would hope from this is that I would hope that there would be more people in the future that will be able to talk to one another, because there's so many people in this country who can't talk to each other about anything.
Absolutely. Brent.
But yeah, Diana, I agree completely that documenting all of this is extremely important, but Gary also did it in a way that's also amusing.
Yes.
It's amusing. It's also, you feel the threat and you get a laugh out of it at the same time. So it's like the full package, and that is really terrific.
The whole drink
Absolutely, I
menu is
agree.
what sold me.
Instead of a dry diary notation, it's really lively.
It's a snapshot story. What did you say, Christopher?
I said the whole drink menu was, I loved it, from one thing to the next. Yes, you had your observations, but you also threw in direct quotes from the news, and then your drink menu. And I'm like, oh, I'm sitting right next to you. That would be perfect.
Could I say how it got written? And
yeah, absolutely.
That particular chapter, how it got written, is we were on the last cruise that got out of Florida, and I knew this is so bizarre to be on this as everything's falling apart and you're sitting there floating around there enjoying yourself. But this was in there. So what I did is I went back and it was on Celebrity. I went back and I got their drink menu from, it's available online. And then I went back and I looked at what was happening every day, because I don't really, in truth of the matter, I'm sorry, I'm in nonfiction. In truth of the matter, I don't really remember the exact thing every day, but I did find that. And then I wanted to put the quotes in and stuff like that, because I'm a huge fan of Ragtime, where Ragtime has real people in the middle of their fiction.
Absolutely. Well, Angela wrote this note in the chat, and I think we all agree. She says, I sincerely applaud you, Gary, for how quickly you put this critical piece in the world for us to read. And I think we all agree with that. Thank you so much for sharing this.
The one that I said that this is probably going to be 3 books, and the second book got cut off because I waited to publish it until I found out who won the election. And after January 6th, I have to have a 3rd book, because I have to have something to say on January 6th.
Well, when your venue of choice for writing is social commentary,
yeah,
you have to hit the milestones, and you're doing it. So good for you.
Thank you. I appreciate everybody.
Thank you very much for reading tonight. I'm so glad you've been here every night, and I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad you're a part of our community. Thank you much for joining us. We're really pleased to have you, and I hope you continue to come back as the lunacy continues.
I will.
Awesome.
I'll try to bring some people too.
That
I'm
would be
working on it.
great. That would be great. Okay, here we go. I want to show you all Gary's book. This is Eyes Open with Your Mask On. Check it out in our Harbor store. Brent put the link again in the chat room. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming out. We really, really appreciate it. This has been a really fun, fascinating, eclectic evening, and I love eclectic. So thank you very, very much. I got to tell you, when I was a little kid, I thought eclectic and eclair meant the same thing. I was confused. I'm better now. Okay, we're gonna give away some books. Because that's kind of the thing we do here. We give away books. Okay, so tonight we are going to spin the wheel 4 times for everybody to get books. The first one is going to be Trace Your Travels from Angela. And then we're going to do Tell Me What You See from Caroline. And then oh, wait, there's 5. Oh my gosh, I missed the 5th one. Okay, here we go. So then we're going to do Eyes Open with Your Mask On and the other one, Liberté. Gary sent us 2 sets to give away. So we're going to give those away because he's super generous and wonderful. And then the 5th time we're going to spin the wheel is from Mary Beth McGee. She did 2 really cool workbooks on creative writing and the creative writing process. These are super fun, super cool. Thank you, Mary Beth, for offering these for us. She sent me a whole stack full of books to give away, and I just, forgot. So, okay, here we go. We're going to give them away. You ready? Let's see if I can do the, gosh, I hope this works. I was having some technical issues earlier tonight. I'm hoping it works. If it works, it's because the spirit of Andrew is with us. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. Can you see the wheel?
We can see it.
Oh, okay. I got the right screen. Let's see now if you can hear it. Here we go. Spin number 1.
And we can hear it.
Hey, Francesca. You get Angela's book. Yay! Okay, we're going to spin the wheel again. Mary Beth, good job. You get Caroline's book. Okay, here we go. Spinning the wheel again. I love this spinning wheel thing. I'm having such a good time with this. Okay, here we go. Hey boys, good job. You got one of the sets of Gary's 2 books. So you get one of those. Super fun. We're going to spin again for the second set of Gary's books. Good job, Diana. I know how much you love indie authors and you are a great fan. So yay, congratulations. Okay. Okay, we're gonna do the second set of Gary's books. See, the wheel is getting smaller, guys. Giving away more books. Okay, here we go. Okay, I read my notes wrong, so that's the creative workbook set that we're giving away to Luba. Yay! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we gave away all the books. Yay! Congratulations, everybody. I'm telling you, it's been a week, guys. I don't know what I'm doing here. We're giving away all kinds of crazy stuff, and I'm losing my mind. Diana, I will find for you because your wheel did come up. Your name did come up on the wheel. Did I do that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, I did do that right. Okay, so everybody, let me go through the list again, just so you guys, in case I messed up. Mary Beth McGee, you get Tell Me What You See. Francesca Moore, you will get Angela's travel journal. Patty Boyce, you will receive one of Gary's sets of books. Diana Duell, you will get one of Gary's sets of books, and Luba, you will get the creative writing workbook set. There we go. See, I did it. This is why I take notes, guys. Always take notes. Don't rely on your memory. Too old. Okay, thank you everybody so much for putting up with that nonsense. Hey, Christopher. No, hey, Brent.
Yes,
Here we
go
go.
ahead. Put your slide up. I'm ready.
Hey, Brent, help me.
So if you want a book tonight, you need to email Diana@pagespromotions.com. And I've already put a link in the chat, so you don't even have to remember that. You have to email her by midnight tonight to claim your prize. Be sure to give her your name and mailing address, because her inbox is her to-do list. If you do not claim by midnight tonight, your prize will be rolled over into another drawing.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we have had people who have not claimed to their prizes. So the Venetian night is going to be really fun because we're giving away more stuff. Okay. Hey, Christopher, can you help me?
I can. If you do receive a book or books in the mail, make sure you check inside the books for your lottery card. The Life Raft Lottery, you're going to, oh my God, where is it? You're going to scratch off to see if you are a winner or not a winner. If you are a winner, you're going to take a picture of the card and of your nice mug, and you're going to send it to Diana, and you will be eligible for one of many bonus prizes, especially by some folks who are not actually participating this month, but have sent in things anyway because they really want you to be happy.
See, happiness is a good thing. Thank you so much, Christopher. Then what happens, Caroline, if they do scratch off a sale and it says they're a winner? What then?
Well, then they're eligible for even more great prizes, because what they're going to do is they're going to get dressed up, and very dramatically, they're going to post a video of themselves on our Facebook page performing this poem. Out of my window, looking in the night, I can see the sailboats flickering light. Starboard shines green and port is glowing red. I can see the sailboats straight ahead. Sailboats, are there treasures in your holds? Many trunks filled with silver and gold? Sailboats, are there captains at your helm bringing books for readers of our town? And when they do that, we will be voting on more fantastic prizes. Five of our favorite videos.
So for those of you, Joan Young, I'm looking at you, who won today, you want to make this video now, because the videos are going to go up on Facebook. The membership is going to vote for them, and then we will reveal the winning video at Venetian night on June 30th. So you want to put them up now. Don't wait to receive your bonus prize. Do the videos now. Okay. All right. Then, if that's not enough, Andrew Smith is super generous, and he has donated the Ultimate Performance Prize Pack. This is the Embracing the Thrill of Fear grand prize. So the idea is, out of the 5 videos that we vote on, one on Venetian night will be selected as the best, and that winner is going to get the Ultimate Prize Pack, which is a copy of A Slice of Fear by Andrew Smith, which is an awesome terror, horror, amazing thing. You're going to love it. Then you're going to take that to the next level as you find your way to Barnes & Noble to spend your $50 gift card on new books, Pirate Booty, but you're not done yet. You will also receive a $25 American Express gift card, which you can use for dinner or other pirate swag or bookmarks or whatever your little heart desires. Eye patches, you know, all that stuff. There's absolutely no better way to face your fear and move past it with books and your imagination. So get those videos in, because we're giving away tons of stuff and you don't want to like miss out. Really, you don't want to miss out. We're also doing a fun thing for the authors, because we want to give authors fun prizes, not just the readers. I mean, readers are super important, but you know, authors like to have fun too. So we're doing a virtual Port Huron to Mackinac Island race. And as you can see, Captain Captain D.A. Reed, Deborah Reed, is in the lead with 38 points. She is currently moored in the Sheboygan Marina. So that's awesome, awesome, awesome. How do they get points? They invite people like you every night, and you name them when you register. You can name one author. You can name as many as you like. You can go through the list and you can just write down everybody's name and give everybody points. When you do that, they collect their points and they move northbound through our course. As you can see, we're up to 299 total spectators so far for the month. We'd like that number to be at 1,000. So get everybody you know to join the last few weeks of our wacky little thing going on here. We're giving away prizes, trophies, just super fun, snazzy booty for the authors. Super fun. Hey, Brent, can you help me out?
Yes. All participating authors in the Summer Reading Regatta, including tonight's readers, are included in the Harbor Store catalog, which I have just putting a link in here again. It contains all of our books, links to our contact information, and Pages Promotion is not collecting a penny in royalties from any of this. Everything goes straight to the author, just as if you'd bought it yourself from your corner store. So please take a look.
Thank you very much. Thank you. If you want an autographed copy of a book that you see in our Harbor Store, click on the author's name. That will direct you to their specific contact information, and you can make arrangements to have them sign it and inscribe it specifically for you. So you can connect to all of the authors through the Harbor Store catalog on our website. Thank you, Brent. Thanks everybody for coming. This is so much fun for me. I'm having such a great month, even though my technology is not like, doing what I want it to all the time. I'm just enjoying myself tremendously. To close out the night, as we always do, shots across the bow. Deborah Reed.
I just want to say I think all of these were fantastic tonight and hit me personally for different reasons. I mean, Gary, it's amazing to me that my husband's band kids at school don't remember 9/11 and that they don't understand what it feels like to live through something like that. And so, yeah, just recording these things is so vitally important. And Caroline, I'm such a visual person, and so much of my writing comes from being visual and really looking at what's around me and observing. And so I love that idea. And Angela, just the importance of writing things down and recording those memories of people close to you and of yourself. I had a 90-year-old piano student at one point who he met Clark Gable as his plane had crashed and was about to blow up. He knew princesses, literal princesses from over in England who were his closest friends. And my father kept telling me, you have to sit down with him. You have to write this up, even if it's only for his family. You have to do this. I was going to go see him to do just that, and he died 2 weeks before.
Oh.
And it will always be a thorn in my heart that I didn't do that for him and for his family in time. And so these were all wonderful. So thank you for your time and for doing this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody. Brent, shots across the bow, sir.
It was a really great night. My allergy medicine failed about 20 minutes ago, so good night.
I feel for you. Ick. Caroline.
Yeah, I really enjoyed listening to both of you tonight. That was fantastic, Gary. I love that the humor that you added into the story, the recounting of it, because I think that's what lasts, and that's what people remember, and that's what people will be drawn to 20, 30 years from now, and this is just a distant memory. And Angela, I love the list. I walk around with a recorder, and I'll occasionally put it down and just let my dad talk, or whoever I'm around just talk, and I have like all these recordings. But I love that idea too, to make it into the lists. I think that's really awesome. I love that idea.
Very, very cool. Thank you, Caroline. Hey, Christopher, can you end up the evening for me?
I can
Shots
do
across
that.
the bow, sir.
Gary, Angela, we need to sit down one day, talk travel over martinis, and don't worry, Caroline will be there too because she's bringing the food.
I think it's perfect. Thank you, everybody, for an awesome evening. If you know somebody who is not able to come tonight, watch for the replay to be posted in our Facebook page tomorrow, and please share it with them. We would like to get the word out for these authors so everybody gets to discover their wonderment. Thank you, everyone. Tomorrow is Christopher's birthday. And at 2:00 p.m. Eastern time, we are doing a book launch for Christopher's new book, Falling Wake 4 Retribution. So come check that out. It's at 2:00 tomorrow, not 7. Check your calendars. And then, of course, Sunday is Father's Day. Go be with your dads. I'm going kayaking. We will see you all back here on Monday after that. But don't miss Christopher's birthday tomorrow because, you know, it's his birthday. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Have a great evening, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Like the
Bye-bye.
Clippers.